So basically, the main riff is combining two notes together in harmony, where we'll have a root note, for example D, and then another note, in this case F, and we play those both together. And we get a harmony because they're both notes from the same scale, the scale of D minor, and they're forming some sort of chord that has a particular sound. In this case, we're highlighting a D minor sound. Alright, just with those two notes. And then his riff is going up the scale, just creating a very simple sort of linear melody, and always combining a note that is exactly a third above in the next octave. So let me explain that. So we're playing a D note. The D natural minor scale is D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and C. And then it starts again. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, finishing on D again. And that will continue no matter how long your guitar is or how many keys on your piano. It's always going to be those 7 notes repeated. Now, if we want to find the third of something, we will start on the root note. That's note number 1. The next note will be number 2, and the third note you'd find next, obviously. So that's D, E, F. D is our root note. F is our third. D, E, F, D and F. Now, rather than playing the two notes together, it sounds a bit muddy. If they're in the same octave, he's taken the F and used the higher one. Right, you don't really need to know where all that's come from, it's just slightly interesting. You could then use that to make your own little cool riffs up and understand a little bit more about harmony. But let's carry on with this riff. We're going to play up our D minor scale on 1 string. So the notes are D at fret 5, E at fret 7, F at fret 8, G at fret 10, A at fret 12, B flat at fret 13, C is at fret 15, and then if you wanted to finish the scale off, you could go all the way up to fret 17, and that is another D note. I'll do that quickly. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. Now I realise some of you might not have a guitar that allows you to get that far up the neck. So if you want to make maybe from the B flat note or the A note not be so high, you can use the D string. So after you've played G at fret 10, you can go onto the D string and play fret 7 for an A, up 1 fret for B flat at fret 8, and then your C note will be at fret 10, all on the D string. D finishing at fret 12. Right, so to quickly recap that, we're just taking notes out of a scale and mapping it onto that 1 string in a line. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. Or D, E, F, G, D string, A, B flat, C, D. Learn how to do that. Forwards and backwards. And you can mess about with it. sound because D minor is the saddest of all the keys. Right, if we take those notes that we've just played now, but look at them on another string, so in this case the B string, we have an open B there, so C is at fret 1, D is at fret 3, we'll start there. All the same spacings will now happen, but starting from fret 3 on the B string. So D to E is a whole step gap, E to F is a half step, etc. So D's at fret 3, E's at fret 5, F's at fret 6, G's at fret 8, A is at fret 10, B flat is at fret 11, we have a C note at fret 13, we have a D note all the way at fret 15, and like I said before, if we can't get all the way up there, here are the notes on the E string as well. So probably once you've got to your B flat at fret 11, B flat, we have a C note at fret 8, and a D note at fret 10, and finally the E note that we'll need at fret 12. Right, so to summarise all those notes dead quickly, we have A string, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. Including the D string to that, we have D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. And then on the B string we have D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. And then including the E string to that, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. Okay, right, now, if you were to write all those out, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and then stick underneath that the third note along from each root note. For example, if D is your starting point, the third note along from that would be F. D, E, F. 1, 2, 3. Number 1, our root. Number 3. If we started on E, E would now be number 1. 1, 2, 3. E, F, G. E would get paired with G. Now if we keep doing that as we go up the scale, we'll get D and F, E and G, F and A, G and B flat, A and C, B flat and D, C and E, and then we're back to the start with D and F. Now those pairings are what we call thirds. We've played a root note and the third note along in that scale. That's the concept. So let's now try doing that, but we're going to play up our scale. The root notes are on the A string, and then on the B string we'll be playing the higher notes, or the thirds. So D and F. That's at fret 5 and fret 6, respectively. E and G. F and A. G and B flat. Right, and you could keep going, and we get this. Got to move all these bits onto the higher strings. Right, so I'll just explain these last bits. A is on the 7th fret of the D string, and C is on the 8th fret of the high E string. B flat at fret 8, D at fret 10. Now what you'll notice is that we only have two shapes to worry about. We either have a root note on the A string and a middle finger a fret higher on the B string, right? For example, D and F, or E and G, or A and C. And there's another one, G and B flat. Alright, they're exactly the same shape, and you can move them about just as I did by locking your fingers together and just moving the shape to these different places. And I'm staring at my first finger and looking where it's going to be going. So if I'm going to take my D up to my E, I'm going to be staring at my first finger and then looking at fret 7 and then just shifting the whole shape there. The other shape is with our third finger. For example, when we get to the F and the A, our third finger is playing the B string 2 frets higher than whatever our first finger is doing on the A string. This happens for the F, the B flat, and the C. Now, if you were to just have a quick listen to those side by side with the same root note, you may recognise that one sounds a particular way that you might be familiar with and one sounds another. So, D with the middle finger, D with the third finger. Oh. So that's the difference basically between a D major chord and a D minor chord. Happy, sad. Alright, and without going into too much theory things, it's because we have the relationship between these two notes is a certain distance apart, which is called a minor third. And this one is called a major third. So we'll have our minor third shape and our major third shape. And if we plonk all that together, starting on our D, you end up with, starting on the D, minor, E minor, F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, and then back to the start again. Okay? Practice doing those, think about those chord shapes now. What I'd encourage you then to do is to just have a little improvise, see if you make your own tunes up. It's much better if you just get familiar with moving these shapes around, rather than only learning the one lick from James Bay. So I'll do that for a minute and you can try it yourself afterwards. Alright, and you'll notice that at the moment I'm just playing with my thumb and a finger. You don't have to use a pick. I like to hold on to my pick just in case, you never know when you might need to play all the notes. So, I'll just quickly show you the other places to play the higher parts, and the shapes are still the same. It's just obviously your first finger is on a different string and your middle finger is on a different string. So the A minor chord, A's here, remember, at fret 7 on the D string, and it's the first and second fingers again. B flat, first and third fingers, C first and third fingers, and then we're at D again. Snuck in a cheeky C at the end down there. All this stuff is movable once you sort of know where the notes are on the fretboard. So here's the riff. We're gonna play D, E, F, A, B flat, A, F, A, B flat, A, F, F, E, D, C. Combining that with the notes on the B string, we get the way that I'm going to say these is I'll tell you the root note that your first finger's playing and then what shape you're playing. So if I say D minor, it's a D minor shape with that middle finger at fret 5. If I say A minor, I'm going to play it up here, but obviously you can move it. So we have D minor, E minor, F major, D minor, E minor, F major. Alright, that's like the first chunk. Next chunk, A minor, B flat, F. Next chunk, A minor, B flat, A minor, F. We repeat that chunk. And then come down by playing F, E, D, C. Whole thing. Right, so one final time. Here's the riff. So the chords for the chorus are B flat, we've sat on that for ages. Then we go to an F, play the F again, and then we go to a C chord. Hold back the river, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river so high. Stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back the river, hold back. Okay, now you don't have to play the full bar chords. You can take everything that we've learnt from playing Journey and going from single root notes and playing little palm mute stuff. So turned it into power chords. C's up at fret 8, remember? So what I'll do now is I'll play it as sort of little power chords. so that's sort of what's going on in the chorus. And I'm just counting it as eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hopefully that makes sense. And then we can do the same thing for the bridge. The bridge, we start on a F chord. We go up to a B flat and down to a G. And that's Lonely Water. Sounds like this. Right, so then the final thing that you need to know how to do, same as with Journey, is to play the melodies. So if you're playing the melodies, you need to know what scale we're using. Remember, in the key of D minor. So we're going to use the D minor pentatonic scale. D is all the way up at fret 10, so that should sound like this. So for this melody, that's the melody that he sings. So we'll keep that the same. And for the B flat part, where he sings Hold Back the River, we're starting on our F note, which happens to be the first finger on the G string in your pentatonic box. And we're gonna go... basically just 3 notes. Have an explore of that, I'm sure you're about to work it out. And then for the Lonely Water bit, we are starting the F again. And we're going F, G, A, C. Or F, G, A, C. Pentatonic scale, best scale in the world. Right, and you'll hear that I was adding another note there. This is from the natural minor scale. This is our B flat note, and it adds a little bit of colour. And he's doing that on the way down. So we've got lonely water, won't you let us wander, let us hold each other. That kind of vibe. And that's pretty much it. The song's nice and it was relatively simple, I think, in terms of the parts. So you've only got to learn basically it. 3 parts: intro, chorus, and bridge, and then some melodies using the pentatonic scale. That's basically 5 notes.